Mga maiinit na balita, breaking news, Senator Marcoleta na tinatawag na isa sa mga Chinators sa Senado nais na i-give up ang Calayan Island at ibigay na lamang sa China. Senator Panfilo Lacson sinupalpal si Marcoleta. Senator Soto, munti ka nang matanggal sa pagka-Senate President at palitan ni Senator Loren Legarda. Naudlot din dahil kay Marcoleta. Bulok na sistema at kaguluhan at pangingialam ng China sa bansa. Duterte ang ugat ayon kay Senator Raffy Tulfo. Malinaw na minungkay ni Senator Rodante Marcoleta, isa sa mga tinaguriang Chinators, sa pagdinig ng Commission on Appointments noong February 4 na dapat na lang naisuko ng Pilipinas ang Calayan Islands Group para payagan ang mga autoridad na mapa ang mga coordinate at tukuyin ang West Philippine Sea.
AIG lies outside our EAC. At pag gumawa po sila ng mapa indicating the coordinates, appropriating the high seas, we will violate the UNCLOS itself. Yun po yung problema. Ngayon, si Commodore Tariela, I don't know kung alam niya ito o hindi, he does not want to inform the public, including the rest of the members of the armed forces. Kapitan, we swear to the Constitution that we will defend the Constitution, all the laws and orders and regulations. Kapag ka magkakaroon po ng giyera sa pagitan ng dalawang bansa, kayo po ang una na sasagupa dito. Kaya dapat po mas interesado kayo kaysa sa amin. Ano ba talaga ipagpapatayan natin dito? We will offer our lives, including the lives of our children, and to die for it, for something that is not even within our EEZ. Ang gawin natin po para madali, i-give up natin yung KIG. Then, mako-coordinate na natin lahat. But until and unless nandun yung KIG, wala nga po nasa labas po ng ating exclusive economic zone. Paano po malalagay sa entire West Philippine Sea?
Tinanggihan ni Senate President Pro Panfilo Lacson noong Sabado mungkahin ni Senator Rodante Marcoleta na isuko ang Calayan Island Group at sinabing ang naturang hakbang ay walang pagkakaiba sa pagsuko ng buong Pilipinas mismo. Ang pagsuko sa Calayan Island Group ay walang pinagkaiba sa pagsuko ng Luzon Islands o ng buong bansa, sabi ni Lacson sa isang post sa social media. Sa ilalim ng international na batas, ang unang pagtuklas at pagmamay-ari ng lupain na hindi pag-aari ng sinuman sa ilalim ng legal na prinsipyo ng res nullius o terra nullius ay isang kinikilalang paraan ng pagmamay-ari ng soberanya. Kahit ang mga hindi ambogado ay tinuro ito sa paaralan, dagdag niya. Sa unang bahagi ng linggong ito, minungkahi ni Marcoleta ng ilang mga isla sa grupong Kalayaan ay malayo sa 370 km Exclusive Economic Zone, EEZ ng Pilipinas. Binansagan ng mga netizens si Marcoleta at 8 iba pang mga senador bilang Chinators matapos siyang tumanggi na suportahan ang mga resolusyon ng Senado na nagkonsensya sa Embahada ng China sa Manila dahil sa umano'y hindi diplomatikong pag-atake nito laban sa mga opisyal ng gobyerno ng Pilipinas. Pililyaso nga ang sanay pagiging Senate President ni Senator Loren Legarda dahil umano kay Senator Marcoleta. Muntik nang maging Senate President si Senatora Loren Legarda noong Miyerkules kung hindi ipinilit na ibalik si Senator Rodante Marcoleta bilang chairman ng Senate Blue Ribbon Committee ayon sa mga source ng Billionaire News Channel. 3 Senate insider nagsabi na nabigo ang kudeta ni na Senate Minority Leader Alan P. Cayetano at Senator Amy Marcos matapos umatras ang 5 senador nang malaman na ibabalik si Marcoleta bilang Blue Ribbon Chair. Naunang nireport ng BNC na tinatayang 17 senador ang sumusuporta kay Legarda para mapatalsik si Senate President Vicente Tito Soto III. Duterte ang ugat ng bulok na sistema ayon kay Senator Raffy Tulfo. Hindi na nagpaligoy si Senator Raffy Tulfo sa pagtukoy kung sino ang dapat managot sa lalim ng problemang kinakaharap ng bansa ngayon. Ayon sa kanya, ang paghihirap ng mga Pilipino ay bunga ng mga iniwang kapalpakan at kapabayaan ng administrasyon ni Rodrigo Duterte, hindi ng kasalukuyang pamahalaan. Para kay Tulfo, malinaw ang pinanggalingan ng bulok na sistema at hindi ito nagsimula kahapon. Giit ng senador, sa ilalim ng Duterte administration, pinabayaan ng mga institusyon, pinalakas ang kultura ng takot at hinayaang mabulok ang accountability, habang abala sa pagmumura at paangas na pabayaan umano ang reforma sa loob ng gobyerno, dahilan para lumala ang korupsyon na hanggang ngayon ay binabayaran ng taong bayan. Aniya, hindi natin pwedeng itanggi na ang mga butas ng sistema ngayon ay galing pa sa nakaraang administrasyon. Kasalanan ng administrasyong ni Duterte kung bakit tayo naghihirap ngayon. Sabay diin na hindi pwedeng burahin ng propaganda ang epekto ng 6 na taong kapabayaan. Para kay Tulfo, hindi sapat ang pagdadramang iniiwanan ng problema. May pangalan ng ugat ng krisis at kailangang banggitin ito kung seryoso ang laban kontra korupsyon. Hanggat hindi tinatamaan ng pinagmulan, aniya paulit-ulit lang magdurusa ang taong bayan kahit magpalit pa ng presidente. Kayo po bilang Pilipino, ano po ang inyong masasabi tungkol dito? Malaya po kayong makakapag-komento sa ibaba. Maraming salamat po.
Nung isang araw, medyo nag-walk out na kasi puro mere allegation na rinig ko Hindi naman pinapaliwanag sa atin kung ano yung sufficient inform. Alright. Ito ngayon, not mere general allegations. Now, we can accept allegations here. Pero it must be based on evidence. Hindi lang po allegation po ito. The court has stressed. Nalaman ko lang, naintindihan ko. The court has stressed that, I quote, ang sabi, mere allegation is not evidence. End of quote. Now, the House substance requirement is met only if there is, as I understand, and I quote, a recital of facts constituting the offense charge and determinative of the jurisdiction of the committee. Ayan, yan po ang sabi sa Gutierrez versus House of Representatives Committee on Justice. At LGR number 193459, February 15, 2011. Parang na akong abogado rito. Nagsasite na ako ng jurisprudence. Ito. Number 4, when corruption, for example, is invoked as an impeachment ground, it, as I would quote someone else who is a legal luminary, saying, must be supported by more than bare allegations. End of quote. An impeachment, must be exercised with, yun po yung sinabi ng kaibigan ko, si Congressman Rizzi, due process. Ito po ang ating ginagawa ngayon, in fairness with the chairman of the Committee on Justice, na sa akin po dapat nang tapusin ito Due process po ang kanyang sinasabi dito. And what? And fairness. Sa akin po, hindi na fair sa amin Fair na po doon sa mga endorsers ng impeachment process na ito Fair na po yan sa inyo ito. Gusto ko na pong banggitin yung issue number 1, no? Issue number 1, yung tinatawag nating BBM parametric formula na binanggit ng dating Secretary Bonoan. Di ba? Yun ang sabi niya sa akin po, hindi sufficient in substance po ito and should be dismissed as the initiatory stage for failure to what? To plead facts constituting an impeachable offense as an act or omission of the respondent. Hindi naman po na ipaliwanag yung tinatawag nating BBM parametric formula whether it be explained by the former secretary or even explained by the complainants themselves. Na nakalagay po dito. Ito po sabi nila, an indictment of a policy framework. Na gusto ko pong sabihin dito, sufficiency in substance turns out whether the complaint recites facts constituting the charge offense. Not rhetoric, not labels, or even policy disagreement. Dapat ito po ay talagang facts. O yun lang po muna. Yun po yung una kong gusto sabihin at meron pang kasunod yan. At gusto kong ipangako sa ating Madam Chair, hindi po ako magwo-walk out this time.
Thank you for your passionate
Madam Chair.
manifestation. In response to the manifestation of the Honorable Abante,
Yes, Madam Chair.
the Honorable Ko is recognized.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just quickly responding to the previous manifestation, any jurisprudence that cites that yung complaint has to be supported by more than mere allegations or bare allegations. Dahil yan ay galing sa decision ng the Supreme Court, ibig sabihin dumaan na po yan sa trial stage at nahanap sa trial na walang evidence. Pero to reiterate, wala pa po tayo doon. Nasa stage pa lang po tayo ng determination of sufficiency of substance. Kung ang allegation sa complaint, if you take it one by one or the whole, would constitute an impeachable offense. So, meron pa rin talagang pag-deem na hypothetical admissions ang ginagawa natin, granting na totoo yung lahat ng mga sinabi ng complaint, meron bang betrayal of public trust na nagaganap? Once again, to remind lang po the committee and the body na nandun pa lang po tayo, hindi pa po tayo pumapasok dun sa pagsiyasat, the truth of the allegations. And anyway, kaya naman po hinahain dito dahil may confidence yung complainants na kapag we delve into that and we're able to present evidence and we're able to call on witnesses, they're able to submit affidavits, meron pong truth na malalabas. Madam Chair.
Thank you. The manifestation or response of the Honorable Ko is noted.
Madam Chair, since nabanggit po yung pangalan ko.
The Honorable Erize.
Yes, gusto ko lang po, very, very short. Gusto pong liwanagin na wala pa tayo sa stage ng pagpipresenta ng ebidensya na tulad na sinabi ni Congressman Abante. At yung pong mga sinabi niya na parameters para sa determination ng prima facie ay lahat po binanggit ko. Who? Presidente. What? Yung pong pag-aproba niya ng release ng mga unprogrammed appropriations at pagpayag niya na tanggalin yung mga flagship projects na nagresulta sa pagkalugi ng gobyerno. Pangatlo, when? 2023, 2024 at 2025 national budget. How? Ayun po, yung pagpirma niya. Yun yung importante. At 3 taon. Kaya po, ma-relink natin ito sa isang paglabag, tatawagin ko po ito, inexcusable gross negligence. Matinding pagpapabaya. At ito po na particular na offense na ito ay pumapatak sa betrayal of public trust. Yun lang po. Salamat po.
The manifestation is noted. At this juncture, we recognize the Honorable Rufus Rodriguez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Specifically, the first act or the first ground to impeach the President is under page 18. Charge, paragraph 66. Respondent President Marcos betrayed public trust by institutionalizing a scheme of corruption through the baseline balance parametric formula. That is the charge. That's not the recital of fact. That's the charge. So I expected that after 66, there will be recital of facts that will be able to state in ultimate facts the acts of the President institutionalizing the BBM formula. This is from page 18 to page 23. A clear reading of all the paragraphs here does not even an iota of recital of fact that there is a connection. There is an act of the President to institute this particular formula. How will the President institute something in this country? Administrative Code of 1986. It says the President issues presidential proclamations, executive orders, memorandum circular. There is no recital of fact here that the President has issued such orders are provided for in the Administrative Code of 1986 that institutionalizes the BBM formula. Second, it can be done through indirectly. There is no recital of fact here that the President called officials of the public courts of Malacanang to tell them to institute this formula. Nothing recital of fact that the President did the act of institutionalizing under the Administrative Code or even indirectly. No recital of fact on that. Now let us go to the particulars. These are now their alleged recital of facts. Page 18, 67 paragraphs. Paragraph 67. About July 2022, with the first month of assuming the presidency, the DPWH adopted, that is their statement, adopted the BBM parametric formula. Because indeed, the Department of Public Works originated, planned, discussed, implemented this formula. Where is the President here? In the planning, in the implementation. No, there is no statement here that the President directed them to adopt a formula. This was solely adopted, Madam Chair. This was solely adopted by the DPWH. And so, this particular of deliberate design of corruption mechanism certainly does not recite a fact to prove, to be able to state that there was institutionalization of this formula. Now, let's go to the others. Because clearly, it is a formula done solely by the Department of Public Works and Highway. Next, B. Let's go to B, page 20. Let us all go to this. Concentration of contracts, 100 billion to 15 billion favored contractors. Where is the statement here that these contractors were given, directed by the President to Public Works to be given? In fact, Madam Chair, the President himself was the one who exposed these 15 favored contractors, and thank God there is no favored contractor, these 15 in Cagayan de Oro 2nd District. That is why, Madam Chair, this is not a recital of fact to support the institutionalizing of this formula from the President. Next, geographical misallocation given to Bulacan, Oriental Mindoro, Tarlac. Is there a link that the President ordered that this be given to them? None whatsoever. This was all the function, implementation, and planning by the DPWH. So this geographic misallocation is our statements which are irrelevant to the institutionalizing. That is the charge, institutionalization. So therefore, this will fall. There is no sufficiency here in the recital of facts. Then we go to D, betrayal, abandonment of the public good or private enrichment. Here, we can see here that once again, the systemic betrayal has no recital of fact that will show the President's involvement in this particular formula. And then, they go to the conclusion. My goodness, in a complaint, you don't have a conclusion. In a complaint, it already clear is not a recital of fact because you state conclusion, corruption was systematic, not incidental. Conclusion of law not based on fact. That is on page 22. That is paragraph 92 to 93. And then we go to page 23. Now, legal conclusion. Now, these are now conclusions of law, which we will all disregard. Because when we go to a complaint, we go to the ultimate facts constituting the offense charge. So therefore here, it concludes, conclusion of law without any basis. It says, respondents Marcos institutionalization of the BBM parametric formula constitute betrayal. There is no link. Their conclusion jumps from the charge, paragraph 66, to paragraph 94 without any link of the President. And that is why, Madam Chair, clearly, the first ground of betrayal of public trust is not sufficient in substance, and this particular allegation should fall. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Honorable Rodriguez. At this point, we recognize the Honorable Janice Digamo. We are still on the first offense, institutionalizing systemic corruption through the BBM parametric formula of allocables. You may proceed.
Yes po. Good morning to everybody. I would like to express how I understand the procedure, lalong-lalo na dun sa unang grounds na binabanggit. At being a non-lawyer, I have to aralin po kung paano ko titignan yung sufficiency in substance. And sa akin pong pagre-research, lalong-lalo na ngayon na narinig ko si Congressman Rufus, pag ina-assess natin yung sufficiency in substance on the first allegation, natutunan ko that I have to look for the act, the document, and the violated duty. So dun sa first allegation, yung BBM formula is the act. But you will have to ask the question, who committed the act? Is it the President himself? Alam po natin, in-explain po ni Kong Rufus na hindi naman po. Ano yung document to support it? Nandun ba yung document to support the allegation? Dapat hinahanap natin yan pag nagja-judge tayo according to the sufficiency of substance. At ang pangatlo po, yung violated duty. With the BBM formula and yung implementation has nothing to do with the office of the President or the President himself. Paano magiging si Presidente ang person to be blamed para dito sa sinasabi natin na BBM formula? You cannot see the hand of the President in all this accusation. Lalong-lalo na dito sa unang sinasabi nila ni BBM, the BBM formula. I think we have to go back to DPWH dahil sila yung nag-i-implement ng programa. Pwede kasi na ang intensyon ng Presidente for giving the budget is very good. Pero yung nag-i-implement ang nagiging problematic. So saan yung kamay ng Presidente dun? Yun yung hanapin natin dapat. So yan lang po, that's my peace of mind, Madam Chair. Thank you po.
That manifestation of the Honorable Digamo reminds the Chair to encourage the members to speak in a language where we will be understood by our beloved countrymen, no? This is actually the power of the sovereign people, and I hope that through this public hearing, we are able to communicate where this power truly rests, no? So we encourage the members as much as possible to speak in Filipino so the people will understand us. Thank you, Honorable Digamo.